Nah, go ahead.
Okay. So you took a, per se, poll to determine the household
Yes.
objects you would use? Okay. And may I ask, who were you polling?
Neighbors, friends, and family mainly.
Okay.
Also, I forgot to do this in my presentation, but when I was saying that the cell phone, which is a flat surface, was the at least 30 days 1 through 3 after wiping. This was the bacteria before wiping, before Lysol and after Lysol. And the TV remote, which is a textured porous surface, was at least 30 days day 4 through 7.
Okay. Super. Very good experience.
Am I allowed to ask how old you are?
12.
I guess you like science?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to start by saying this is outstanding. This is
Yes.
rigorous Thomas Alva Edison Regional Science Fair worthy science.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you some hard questions.
Okay.
And I think you're up to, I know you are.
I will answer.
First, where'd you get your agar solution?
My agar solution was from Amazon.
It's great. And do you know what kind of agar it was?
Nutrient-
General. Was it
nutrient agar.
nutrient-rich agar? When you counted the colony, see, I'm just going to ask you, and you're going to know all these. How did you distinguish one colony from another? Just by the circle edge of the colony?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
If you do this again, and I think you might want to, or do something like it, because you definitely have the skill set already being developed. There are colony counters. You can actually lay them over top of a petri dish. They're grid, and you can actually distinguish even smaller colonies. But for this, it's probably fine because they are just big blobs.
I'm sorry, I was like going to say that I did research on how to count bacterial
Good.
colonies,
Excellent.
how to like distinguish one from another, and I was like, oh, there's a machine for this. Oh, I don't have it, and it's hundreds of dollars.
But if you want to get access to it, we can get you access at FGCU to those. They will allow you to. If I'm not saying you should do that. Yeah, I'm not trying to add more work to your life, but you can do it. All right, and judges, just tell me to be quiet. But she's got some crazy mad skills here, and I love it. When you ask people about what items in the house, you were doing qualitative data research. In other words, you're not measuring anything, but you're asking their opinion.
Yes.
You then married it to a quantitative data measure. In public health projects, and that's my area of expertise, this kind of research is the gold standard of research, where you marry, and when you said you had surveyed people, I thought you just picked them because they make sense. Why did you do that? Like, how did you learn to do that as a 12-year-old?
I am not sure.
You're supposed to say, my mom and dad raised me really well, and that the education I'm getting in classical conversations is second to none. That's your answer.
That's my answer.
But do you understand that you've wedded two elements of science that become very powerful because you're asking a public health question, okay? Do you know what I would have answered if you said which item in the household?
What would you have answered?
Handle of your toothbrush. It is, by far, the most bacteria-laden item in anyone's house.
I never thought of that.
Generally, the research over and over and over again has shown that. That's why, if you're worried in your house, wipe down your toothbrush.
Just wear a glove whenever
Yeah.
you brush your teeth.
I'm gonna be quiet. I got more, but go ahead, please. Everyone jump in because this is really exciting to me. I'm jazzed about it. So.
I know there's just so much. I'm trying to find a very good question for you.
Excellent job.
Okay, so the period, I know you said it, I think I missed it. How many days was your time
7
spent?
days.
7 days, okay, and then every day at the same time,
Mhm.
you checked and
Yes.
counted? Okay.
Do you know what kind of bacteria you're seeing?
Not exactly.
I'm guessing it's one of the Streptococcus variations, but I don't know which one.
And I believe on the Lysol container it does say it kills strep.
And that's why you admitting that you didn't do the. Listen, again, A+, because it's a learning experience.
Exactly.
All science, and just because you didn't prove something that your hypothesis started with, you still did science. You know that. Science is the elimination of certain things that don't work. So, and the fact that you just owned up to it, I thought, oh, come on, that's too good.
And that's the best thing is it stinks when you're in your position and you're like, dang it, I screwed this up. But being able to say that now we can see you laid it out there. You said, I didn't do this right, but still my results are semi-accurate. And saying that just clears everything up instead of us digging and finding out, oh wait, she didn't follow the instructions. You just laid it out there, and in a way you gave us another piece of the experiment. It's a different way to do it. So you showed us, if you don't wait the 4 minutes, this is what happens. So very good.
And I do not know anyone who is aware of the 4-minute rule, so
Most
Fine
people
print.
don't read the
Yeah.
labels.
Yeah.
They just say, oh, 99.9, and that's it. So,
Do you know have you familiar with the term replication? In other words, how many times you do a specific element of an experiment?
it sounds familiar.
Yeah. If you did this again, I mean, you did a set of agar dishes for each item, right?
I did one for each item just before Lysol as it is,
Right.
then
Or
another
before
set.
and after.
Mhm.
I'm not saying you did anything wrong. The next step in this project that takes to the next level is you do 3 or 5 dishes of each one. You begin to also distinguish between the size of your colonies, and those actually become even a more precise measure. It seems like you just counted where an individual blob, but some of the blobs were different sizes, right?
Yes.
Okay. This says something about God's creation. What does it say to you about God's creation? What did you
Well,
learn about it?
Everything in the entire world, the world itself, is made by God. So there's no denying it. So in science, with so many living things, not everything is related to living things exactly, but microbiology, botany, zoology, it's all living things, and it was created by God. So as I looked deeper into microbiology specifically, it just made me feel like a real, this might sound a little weird, but like a real person, a real Christian, because I was looking deeper into God's work.
And so how did germs show you God? Because everything in our world reflects of Him, because He is
Yes.
the perfection. So how did germs lead you closer to God, or give you a better understanding of His creation and Him?
Well, as there's stuff like, there's good bacteria, so even though I'm maybe looking into the gross kind of bacteria, it just, I'm sorry, I just don't know how to put this into words. It just, as I'm looking into the bad kind of bacteria, and there's also the good bacteria, it just leads me closer to God, knowing that this is one of His creations. Some of it's bad for us, some of it's good for us, but there's always a plan God always has a plan for every single one of us, the animals, the little microscopic creatures, and that's just so amazing to me.
Very
it's
good.
all interlinked.
And even you'll learn this in the upper challenges. There's a philosophical idea that we don't know perfection without the imperfection, and your project just screams that, because it says, as you said it perfectly, we have good bacteria, we have bad bacteria. That's what happened because of the fall. That's where we've led to now we have staph infection and health problems and all of this, because we have fallen prey to our sin nature. We are now dead in our sin, and we have all these consequences of that. So very good. Very, very
I
good.
also thought your board was very, very clever, very nicely
Thank
laid out.
you.
I really like it. It's,
Yeah.
it's very appealing. It communicates what you're trying to tell us.
Excellent job.
Excellent. Good
Yes,
job.
very good.
Thank you.